Be shooting 56% for three. These are tough shots over Wemby. And then the old teammate, Jeremy Sohan, looking at him. Then he comes over again to give a little bit more.
This is Victor Wembanyama. He came into the NBA looking like the perfect future face of the league. Quiet, polite, different, almost too calm for someone with that much hype around him. But the playoffs showed something new. The soft-spoken kid from France is starting to disappear. And the league may not like what replaces him. Because after the trash talk, the physical hits, the Knicks fans turning on him, and the media questioning his toughness, Wemby finally showed the NBA a darker side. This was the first moment where people realized Wemby was not just going to stand there and take it. Jeremy Sochan knew him. They had been teammates. He knew how Wemby normally acts. So when Sochan started talking from the sideline, it felt personal. This was not a random defender trying to get under his skin. This was someone who had shared a locker room with him, now trying to bother him in the biggest series of his life. And Wemby's reaction was cold. He did not scream. He did not waste energy. He just gave him that look and kept moving like Sochan was not even worth the full response. Thank you, Victor. All right. Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never. That is what makes Wemby scary. He does not need to act loud to look dangerous. Some players show anger by yelling at everyone. Wemby shows it by going quiet. His face changes, his body language changes, and suddenly the same player who used to look like the league's friendly alien starts looking like a problem nobody wants to create. That is where the villain side comes in. Not because he's actually a bad guy, but because the league is starting to treat him like one. The Knicks series pushed that narrative to another level. New York fans were on him every night. Every foul became a debate. Every stare became a meme. Every hard play turned into another reason for people to call him arrogant, dirty, or too full of himself. And that's how sports works. The moment a young superstar starts threatening people's favorite teams, the love turns into hate fast. Wemby went from being the future everybody admired to the guy people wanted humbled. Overrated. Overrated. That kind of hate can break a young player or it can sharpen him. And with Wemby, it looked like it was sharpening him. The more New York pushed, the less innocent he looked. The more people tried to make him uncomfortable, the more he seemed to understand something important. Being liked is nice, but being feared is better. At some point, every great player learns that lesson. Jordan learned it. Kobe learned it. LeBron learned it. Now Wemby is learning it in real time. But the criticism did not only come from fans. Shaq also jumped in with the old-school big man view. Shaq did not say Wemby was not talented. Nobody can say that with a straight face. But Shaq looked at him and said the same thing big men have been saying since Wemby entered the league. He has to get stronger. He has to become more physical. He has to stop letting defenders push him out of his spots when the postseason gets ugly. When I'm talking about big man, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to have a certain mentality. The same mentality that I saw him have. The same mentality that I have saw Patrick have, that Draymond has. He came out with a lot of energy and a lot of effort. I seen it the last series whenever he's high and scoring and playing like that. The team plays well. That's all I'm asking him to do. I'm not asking him to beat me. I'm asking him to have that mentality, 'cause this what it takes to win a championship. Can I add to that? The criticism hits because it comes from Shaq. This is not some small guard talking about footwork. This is one of the most dominant big men ever telling Wemby that skill alone is not enough. In the regular season, Wemby's length, shooting, blocks, and highlights can overwhelm people. But in the playoffs, teams turn every weakness into a target. They put bodies on you. They grab. They shove. They make every catch difficult. They test whether you want contact or whether you want space. That's where Charles Barkley's criticism adds another layer. Chuck has never been afraid to say a young star needs more edge. He looks at Wemby and sees a great kid, a special talent, but maybe not someone naturally mean enough yet. And that word matters, mean. Because in the playoffs, being talented is not always enough. Sometimes you have to be nasty. Sometimes you have to punish the team that keeps bumping you. Sometimes you have to send a message that the next cheap shot will cost them. Wemby's in shock right now. It's probably been a long time since he got his ass kicked like this. That is the real transformation happening here. Wemby is not being asked to become a fake tough guy. He does not need to turn into a trash talker just for cameras. He needs to become comfortable with being hated. He needs to stop worrying about looking respectful every second and start understanding that every dynasty-level player eventually becomes somebody's villain. When you block shots, embarrass stars, stare down crowds, and ruin people's championship dreams, fans stop calling you cute, they start calling you a problem. And Wemby is already a problem. On defense, he changes the whole floor. Guards think they have a layup, then suddenly the ball disappears. Big men think they have deep position, then suddenly they are shooting over a tower. Wings try to attack the rim, then realize the normal rules do not apply. That is why he's so different. He doesn't just block shots. He makes players second-guess shots before they even take them. Clowney trying to go right back at KJ Martin right there. And then again came over late. Martin misses the three. I don't want that to work out in Mamu's favor. We love Mamu though. Oh, good. But defense alone will not decide his next chapter. The real question is what he does after being embarrassed, challenged, and criticized. Every all-time great has that turning point. The moment when losing stops feeling like a lesson and starts feeling like an insult. Michael Jordan had Detroit. Kobe had playoff failures. LeBron had Dallas. Those moments did not end them. They changed them. They made them colder. They made them more dangerous. Wemby may have just reached his version of that moment. That is why the off-season matters so much. The league should not be laughing at Wemby right now. It should be nervous because he already had the skill. He already had the size. He already had the defensive instincts. The only thing missing was that angry emotional scar that turns a great player into something ruthless. And after the Knicks series, after the trash talk, after the old head criticism, after fans turning him into a villain, that scar is forming. I can assure you nobody has trained like I did this summer, and this is my best summer so far. Like I can tell the progress is just incredible. I feel better. I look stronger and the scale says I'm heavier. So everything is green. That training clip is the part people should pay attention to. Wemby has always trained differently, but now the work feels different. It's no longer just about becoming better. It's about becoming harder to move, harder to talk to, harder to bully, and harder to survive in a 7-game series. If he adds real strength without losing his movement, the NBA has a serious problem. Because a stronger Wemby doesn't just mean more post touches. It means better screens, deeper catches, more rebounds, more contact finishes, and fewer teams thinking they can push him around. And this is where the villain side becomes dangerous. A nice Wemby is already an all-NBA level nightmare. A comfortable Wemby is already hard enough to deal with. But an angry Wemby, a Wemby who remembers every chant, every shove, every old head comment, and every person who said he was too soft, that version could change the entire league because he won't just be trying to win games. He'll be trying to make people regret creating that version of him. That is the real story. The NBA wanted Wemby to be the future, but the playoffs may have turned him into something colder than that. The Knicks did not just beat him, they gave him a reason. Sochan did not just talk trash. He reminded Wemby that even people who know him will test him. Shaq and Barkley did not just criticize him. They gave him a challenge. And fans did not just boo him. They gave him the kind of hate every superstar eventually has to learn how to use. So yes, Victor Wembanyama just showed his villain side, but this may only be the beginning. The polite version of Wemby was already terrifying. The angry version might be unfair. And if he comes back stronger, meaner, and more comfortable being hated, the rest of the NBA may look back at this series and realize they did not humble him, they created him.